Ken Trahan with Lenny Vangilder. It's our First NBC Bank weekend preview brought to you by First NBC Bank with 35 locations throughout southeast Louisiana and into the Florida Panhandle. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNOLA.com. We're at Zephyr Field where the announcement was made today that 8 Catholic League games will be played here at Zephyr Field this coming football season, and all on Friday nights with one exception. And Lenny, obviously it's a positive development. Stadium issues have been a big issue for many years. This offers another venue, and obviously it's a good location with plenty of parking, nice concessions. How it sets up remains to be seen.
Yeah, and look, I think at the end of the day, high school football for the most part was meant to be played on Friday nights, and in the Catholic League, you don't get a lot of that. You get the Friday night game at Tad Gormley, and that's about it. Everything else gets played on Thursdays and Saturdays. So this presents another Friday night option out there for these schools, allows them perhaps to maintain some regularity in the scheduling instead of bouncing back and forth between Fridays and Saturdays and some Thursdays. And all in all, you're right. Good venue. Let's see how it all plays out.
And clearly, this was a co-op venue. All of these athletic directors and coaches coming together. It's always good to see people work together.
It is. And look, the Catholic League schools especially, they do stick together and try to march forward as much as they can, and in step with each other. And we saw that quite evident today.
In terms of college baseball, LSU opening a big series against number 1 Florida Thursday night and carrying on through Saturday. This is a big series. LSU has put itself in a position where they clearly can host now an NCAA regional.
They can. I think a lot of things can happen over the course of the next week and a half for LSU. They've got by playing Florida, if they have a big series this weekend and do well in the SEC tournament, I still think they've got the chance to play themselves all the way up to a national seed. Kind of stay the course a little bit. I think they will host but not be a national seed. They've also perhaps got a chance to play themselves out of a national seed, or out of a 1 seed, I should say, if they were to get swept this weekend and to make a quick exit from the SEC tournament. So a lot of room for opportunity on both ends of the spectrum as far as LSU is concerned.
Interesting pulmonary with Lang, of course, on his opening night, but he's got a first-time starter basically in his second game.
Well, I think had Smith been healthy all year, Smith would have been their Sunday starter. And he's dealt with some injuries and, had a chance to play his way, pitch his way back into the rotation, so to speak. Had an outstanding outing at Notre Dame last Wednesday and gets the chance to get this second start here as they continue to try to really settle in on a number 3 starter.
Tulane, a big series at Houston. Houston's gotten hot of late. That's always a tough place to play.
It is a tough place to play. Tulane needs 2 out of 3 to win the American Athletic Conference Championship. They didn't help themselves with that loss to Nichols on Tuesday, but I still think that if they win the regular season, if they win the tournament, that they've got a chance to perhaps move into that number 1 seed / host discussion.
UNO off of a big weekend against Southeastern last weekend, a loss to ULL, and they're back in action. And, of course, they're going to have to win their tournament, but they've certainly had a great year, and you can't discount them.
No, you can't. And that's the thing with the Southland Conference tournament. It's anybody's ball game when you get there. Finish up with Nichols. Nichols coming off the big win over Tulane on Tuesday night. And it's a home-away-home series, UNO at home on Thursday and Saturday. We'll see how the weather affects things, but it's a big opportunity. They've got to wrap up their spot in the tournament, but Nichols really needs to play well this weekend to wrap up their spot in the tournament. So maybe from that perspective, trying to set the stage for next week, a little bit more to play for the Colonels.
Pelicans, of course, will draft 6 after the lottery took place earlier this week. That's exactly where they were slotted initially. The possibilities are endless. You can read my story at SportsNOLA.com. And as far as the future of the team, we'll see. Del Demps was there at the draft lottery, so nothing on that front, at least to this point.
At least to this point, and it seems the further away you get from the end of the regular season that the least likely there is for something to happen. But again, you just never know.
And finally, Delgado opening play in a Region 23 tournament. Teams from Missouri and Oklahoma here this weekend, and we're a part of that.
Yeah, we'll have it all here at SportsNOLA.com. It's a 3-team tournament, the South Central District Championship. The winner goes to the JUCO World Series. Delgado's been there the last 2 years by winning this tournament on the road. Now they get a chance to play at home in this tournament for the first time in 5 years. There were some upsets in the other tournaments, as it were. So not the high seeds coming in here or the highly ranked teams that could have been here. Some teams got upset last weekend, but still, you've got to go out and do what you need to do against these teams who obviously come in playing good baseball, having won their tournaments last week.
Look forward to it. Lenny, have a great weekend.
All right, we'll see you Monday.
That's our First NBC Bank Weekend Preview, brought to you by First NBC Bank with 35 locations throughout the New Orleans area and beyond. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNOLA.com. He's Lenny. I'm Kenny. Have a great weekend, and God bless you.